Golden State Media Concepts social media podcast. Time to hashtag everything. We talk about all the fun, crazy stories on social media. From Instagram to Facebook, Twitter to Tumblr, or probably even Friendster. Join us each week as we explore the quirky side of social media. It's the Golden State Media Concepts social media podcast.
It's simple, such a sad song. The one that we rely on to get us.
Thank you for tuning in to GSMC Social Media News Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Shamaria Jackson, and in today's show, I thought to just go on and cut out all things quarantine. Well, majority of all things quarantine. There is one subject of quarantine, but mostly in today's podcast, I'm going to be mainly talking about music, because everything in social media, or at least majority of everything in social media right now, is all centered around music. So we're going to be diving into a lot of music today, and I cannot wait to give you guys the rundown on everything social media news related. Stay tuned. So first, diving in, we are going to talk about Battle of the Producers. On Instagram, it has kind of been a friendly banter between producers. So it's producer versus producer, or songwriter against songwriter, and so far and so forth. We've seen Timberland and his competition, but right now I wanted to talk about Sean Garrett versus The Dream. That happened last Saturday, March 28th. And Sean Garrett and The Dream went on Instagram Live and kind of wanted people to choose who was the better songwriter, who was the better producer. If you guys have no idea who The Dream is, or better yet, who Sean Garrett is, they're both very famous singers, songwriters, and producers. The Dream in 2007, he made a song called Falsetto. He also in 2007 made I Love Your Girl. Shawty is the, And then Sean Garrett has been in multiple songs. He debuted Nicki Minaj in her very first debut song, Massive Attack. So right now we're going to go back and talk about what is this producer versus producer competition on Instagram. Basically what they do, they go on Instagram Live and they kind of show audience the songs that they helped either create or they produced. So either they wrote the song, co-wrote the song, or they produced the song. But what started off as friendly banter quickly turned into Twitter being messy. And they were being messy by questioning if Beyonce actually writes her own music, because if you know anything about Beyonce, she is obviously a singer, but it also says that she's a songwriter as well as an actress. But people are now saying, does she write her music? Because a lot of her chart smashing hits, such as Single Ladies, Upgrade You, Partition, a lot of them either The Dream made or Sean Garrett made. And they're not seeing it, me doing what I normally do. They're not seeing it in a positive kind of standpoint. Instead, they're kind of saying, well, we should be giving, our points to Sean Garrett and The Dream. But Beyonce has made a lot of songs, especially in her career. She has had a very, very long career. So for people to just kind of start to write her off and make something out of nothing, that just shows you, what we're dealing with on Twitter. People love Beyonce because she can give you such a show. And a lot of these songs, Beyonce did a stellar job at performing it. And that's to say about a lot of artists. There's a lot of artists out there who do not write their own material, but the way they present the music to the audience, that keeps people engaged. And I don't think we should cut Beyonce off because she didn't make some of these hit songs. There are other, music choices that she has made. Plus, it's Beyonce. Come on, it's Beyonce. Another singer, producer, and songwriter that decided to have a friendly banter is Ne-Yo versus Jonte Austin. And if you don't know who Jonte Austin is, he is a singer, he's a songwriter, a composer, a producer, you name it, he does it. He is a well-known man in the music industry, and he makes hits. He has composed Call on Me by Janet Jackson featuring Nelly. He was the composer for Ciara's song Goodies from her Evolution album. He wrote for Aaliyah, Mary J. Blige, and Chris Brown, but he's mostly known for writing some of Mariah Carey's hit singles, such as Shake It Off, as well as We Belong Together. He is a musical genius. And this is just like a side note. I love the way he spells his name. I love the way he spells his name. It's so unique. It's spelled Johnt and then an A with an accent dash on it. So it's Jonte. It's so nice. I don't know. That's just me. I love the way he spells his name. So anyway, back on to Ne-Yo versus Jonte. They took over Instagram on Sunday, March 29th. They took over Instagram on Sunday, March 29th that night, and they were giving us a deeper look at all of these classics that they helped create. But they also gave us an even deeper discussion on being a singer, a songwriter, and a producer. And then that showed you their just wide range of musical capability. We're also going to talk about Ne-Yo and how he wrote for not only Rihanna, but Carrie Hilson Plies and Beyonce as well. So again, the fact that these artists can come in and, find out who another artist is, and just trying to bring to light not only the producer slash songwriter's musical capability, but the artist that they're writing for, and seeing them develop into the artist that they are. Some of these songs we wouldn't even know that these people produced and song wrote for. So the fact that we had the chance to really look that up, I think that says a lot as well. But as far as who won between Ne-Yo versus Jonte Austin, I would have to say it was Jonte Austin. But that's because it was a really tough, very close call. I mean, because both of them they're so talented. They're both very talented men, and you can tell that they love their job, and you can tell that they love what they do. And I haven't really heard their names in any drama. I think I've heard Ne-Yo's name in some drama, but once. But after that, you don't hear anything about any drama, any mess, anything. So the fact that they stay out of the public eye, but they produce something so well, and they're so well liked in the music industry, that also says a lot. And then next time we have Babyface and L.A. Reid versus Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. And they're going to be on the next, singer, songwriter, producer battle, as you can say. I suspect a lot of Babyface and L.A. Reid singles may come from Usher. There's a lot of songs that I have heard from Usher that Babyface has either written for or produced. And if it wasn't Babyface, it was L.A. Reid. But Usher did come out and say that at one point he felt kind of betrayed because he claims that Babyface gave his album to Tevin Campbell. And speaking of Usher, which artist did Twitter claim could beat or surpass Usher vocally? Find out after we return.
Do you want to be healthier, yet you just don't know what to do? All these shows telling you this and that, but nothing seems to work. Well, listen close. Golden State Media Concepts has got something great for you. The Health and Wellness Podcast dedicated to workout trends, healthy eating habits, diet, and everything about healthy living. Join us in our banters as we help you not just live life to the fullest, but live it to the healthiest.
Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about the fact that these talented men have written some of the best hits, and the fact that you can tell that they just love their job and they love what they're doing, and the fact that they're spreading their music capability, and the fact that they're also bringing other artists to reach their music capability as well, their potential, and bringing people to not only love the song, but can resonate with the song as well, because that's what we want. We want something that we can resonate with, especially, just as a person. Me personally, I love to listen to music that I can resonate with. I can see myself in the song. I can understand the song. I can vibe with the song. So that's what you want. That's what makes a classic. And these are the people that are creating that. But I also gave you guys a hint, or a little nugget, I guess you can say, that Twitter was claiming that there was an artist out there that could surpass Usher vocally. And Twitter has deemed that artist to be none other than Trey Songz. Yes, I will say that again. Twitter has claimed that Trey Songz can surpass Usher. Now, if you know anything about Trey Songz, he's a very talented man. His debut album, I Gotta Make It, was released in 2005 through Atlantic Records. And I have to admit, when he first came out, I loved him. He had hair, he had this beautiful braids going on. He's a very attractive guy. He could sing his butt off. That's what I can say. He is talented. And he has had some hits, especially in the top 20 billboards, such as Nana, 2004, Slow Motion, 2015, Bottoms Up, Foreign, Heart Attack, Neighbors Know My Name, I Can't Help But Wait, Say I, Dive In. I mean, you name them, I can do it. Just recently in 2019, he released Chi Chi with Chris Brown, and let me say, that is a summertime classic. I love that song. It's not really a classic, but it's something I know for a fact. Like, if my friends play this and we're at the pool, I'm having fun. And he is very talented. But can he go toe to toe with Usher? Usher is someone who has had, in my opinion, nothing but top hits, especially with his Confessions album. His Confessions album alone can beat out Trey Songz. And again, that's not me being rude. That's not me being mean. But as someone who has grown up off of Usher's songs and has listened to Trey Songz for a very long time, the two artists are very different vocally. They might seem similar in some kind of ways, but they're both very, very different. Usher can change up his style and he can give you a range, whereas Trey Songz, I feel, he mostly cannot. And again, that's not me being rude. That's me just giving you facts. Usher has given us, in 2004, My Boo, DJ Got Us Falling in Love, You Got It Bad, Burn, Love in the Club, I Don't Mind, You Remind Me, There Goes My Baby, Confessions Part 2, OMG, Nice and Slow, Hey Daddy, Lovers and Friends, You Make Me Wanna, which, by the way, You Make Me Wanna just got remixed with Summer Walker. And, I'm just going to sit back and sip my tea really quickly. This man has released 8 studio albums, 10 complication albums, and then there's more from there. He has peaked on the #1 Billboard chart. We don't know how many times. Also on Twitter, they were comparing Quincy Jones to Kanye West. Twitter has lost their minds. They have just lost their minds. Kanye West, for one, has been highly influenced from Quincy Jones. And Quincy Jones, by the way, he has a career span of over 60 years. 80 Grammy nominations, 28 Grammys, and he has produced not only for film and TV, but he has produced for one of the biggest albums ever, and that is Michael Jackson's Thriller. And that's not even just adding to his resume. Quincy Jones is someone in the music industry who is he is a legend on top of legends. Quincy Jones is the father of R&B, of music. Okay, so for the fact that some people are comparing Quincy Jones to Kanye West, and I'm not saying that to dog Kanye West, because Kanye West is a very good artist. He is a very good producer. He has produced some great music. Kanye West has produced Bonnie and Clyde, which is a song from Jay-Z and Beyonce. He has produced Poppin' Tags by Twister, Killer Mike, and Big Boy. He has helped produce Mos Def featuring Faith Evans in the song called Brown Sugar Fine. That was in 2002. He has helped produce Monica's Knock Knock in 2003. I'm saying again all of this to say Kanye West is a very talented man. He is. You can see his artistic feel on a majority of everything that he has either rapped, songwritten, or produced. You can definitely see that. You can. He is a very, very talented man. But at the same time, I don't feel as if he is on the same level as Quincy Jones, who has, I guess, put the standard on what artists should reach for. And I feel like Kanye West is trying to get on that level. And you can tell he's climbing for that level. He is not at a Quincy Jones level. And that's my opinion on it. And speaking of Kanye, there is an artist that is signed under Kanye. And his name is Pusha T. And he came at another particular artist over a diss track. And we're going to find out who that artist is once we return. If you do know, don't change to that dial. If you don't know, stay right there. All right, I will come back right after these messages.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about how Twitter has kind of, again, lost their minds. There are a lot of people who are comparing legends to people who are still up and coming. So they have made it known, these newer artists, I guess you can say, / producers, have made it known that they are talented. They're very much talented, but they're not on the same level as a legend should be compared to. And I'm not saying that Kanye West is new, because he's been in the game for a minute now. But what I am saying is that he is not on the same level as Quincy Jones, a man who has over 60 years of experience, of profile building, of becoming Quincy Jones. But right now, before the break, I also talked to you guys about this artist who made a diss track to another artist under the Kanye West produced song Daytona. So who are we talking about? Who is this artist that has broken Twitter, Instagram, everything? Who is this? Who is this artist? If you already know, you guys can go on and say it with me. It's Drake. Yes, Drake has broke the internet by showing off his adorable son, Adonis, who is so cute, by the way. Like, I just want to pinch his cheeks. He's so cute. Oh my goodness. He is so adorable with his blonde curls and his blue eyes, his big blue eyes, by the way. Ugh, he is going to grow up and he is going to be a lady killer. He is so, so adorable. So I mentioned Pusha T because Pusha T called out Drake, saying he was hiding his son and, of course, his adult film baby mama, Sophia. To which Drake came back and said, I'm not hiding the world from my kid. I'm hiding my kid from the world. And to me, that lyric is kind of saying, I don't want anyone talking about my child because it's such a sensitive topic and no one likes their child to be talked about. Like, at all. Like, why would I? The world is cruel, okay? The world is terrible. And he wants to protect his child from that. And I can resonate with that. So that's why I mentioned Pusha T. But what I'm talking about is the fact that for a very long time, Drake has always been very quiet about his son. Again, to protect his child. To make sure that no one is going to say or do nothing to his child. I think that's the one thing I like about Drake, is the fact that he loves his family so much. If you ever really listen to his music, he never really talks about his mom, because you can tell he really loves his mom. And so I can see that he loves his child with all of his heart. But he came out and he showed the world this adorable, beautiful boy. And as Twitter does, the way Twitter did its thing, and you had a mixture of good and bad. You had what I was saying, which is this boy is so adorable. He's so cute. His big blue eyes, his beautiful curly blonde hair. He is so adorable. And then you have the other part of Twitter that's like, that can't be his kid. That's not his child. So, Drake also put out, I guess, kind of like a clip of a documentary where he talked about him and his son, how he did go and get the paternity test for his child. And he said that he not only tested his child once, but I believe he tested his child 3 times. The first time he tested his child was because something happened to the paternity test. And then the second time, I don't know what happened the second time, but then the third time he tested his child and it said, you are the father. But after really looking at pictures that came out, you can definitely tell that Drake is the father, because you can look at Drake's mom. Drake's mom and Adonis look just alike. Like, it's kind of scary. They look just alike. And then a lot of people forgot the fact that Drake is biracial, meaning Drake's dad is black and then his mom is white. And she has blonde hair and blue eyes. And that's exactly what Adonis has. He has blonde hair and blue eyes. A lot of people, again, were saying, well, that doesn't make sense. It's genetics. And we have no control over genetics. Drake is the father. He is a very proud father of Adonis. You can tell that he loves his kid. And I wanted to say congratulations because they are so cute and Adonis is so adorable. Again, I'm going to keep saying that for the rest of this podcast because he's so adorable. And then the cheeks, oh my gosh. Oh, it's so cute. But speaking of Drake, I know. I'm going to go on and switch subjects really quickly. I just wanted to talk about Drake and him officially showing his child off to the world. What I also love about what Drake has done is the fact that he has had his paternity test. He's done the paternity test and he's actually taking care of his child. There's other rappers out there who acknowledge the fact that they have a child, yet they're never in the child's life. And I'm not going to mention any names, Future, but that seems to become like a huge issue. And I love the fact that Drake has stepped up. He has said, you know what, I'm not going to allow my child to be in the media like this. I'm going to put my child up. I'm going to show that I love my child and I'm going to go about my day and I'm going to keep that quiet. Again, because he wants his life to be just that. He wants his life to be quiet and he wants that part to be protected. I don't know about you guys, but for me, with my niece, it's like you can talk about me all you want. Talk about me all you want. I don't care. But the moment you talk about my niece, that's where it becomes an issue. And I think for Drake, that's kind of like his soft spot. That's his soft spot. That's his heart. And I feel in my little world, I feel like that's Drake's world, his child, because he was so quiet in bringing that out and bringing Adonis out. Because again, he understands that the world can be cruel. He understands that the world can be very insensitive. And he just wants to protect his child. But what singer-songwriter did Drake confess his love to at a music award show? Again, if you know the answer, stay tuned. If you don't know the answer, stay tuned. Because I'm going to have everything you need to know about this next artist coming right up.
Want to find out what movies to go see? Then check out the GSMC Movie Podcast. It's your ticket to the latest movies, whether it's a new blockbuster event, romantic, comedy, or action flick. This show has got it all covered. They talk some what to go see now. Don't bother. What's hot on Netflix and everything in between. That's GSMCpodcast.com/movie-podcast. When it's all about the movies, it has to be this new show. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about Drake and how he broke the internet by showing his beautiful blonde hair, blue-eyed son to the world, and how many people were either saying how adorable the baby was or saying how they feel like the baby isn't Drake's, even though Drake is biracial and the baby looks exactly like his mom. But I'm going to go on and digress about that situation, and I'm going to bring up my question. My question before the break was, what singer-songwriter did Drake confess his love to at an award show? So if you guys said it right, you already know it's Rihanna. And Rihanna was trending this week because she has broken not one, but two barriers. So a little something about Rihanna before I officially go into what Rihanna has done. Rihanna is basically Wonder Woman. She's a singer, she's a songwriter, she's an actress, and she's a businesswoman. She received the CFDA, or Council of Fashion Designers of America, in 2014. She was named the creative director of Puma in 2014. She was Howard's Humanitarian of the Year in 2017. She launched Fenty Beauty in 2017, which made history because it had over 40 shades of foundations, which every woman could use, even myself. It was great because it helped people with paler skin. It helped people with a darker skin tone. And then it helped everyone in between. If you know anything about foundation, or if you don't know anything about foundation, every woman's skin complexion is different. For me personally, I have a warm undertone. For other women, they might have a cooler undertone. For other women, they may have a neutral tone. So that's what Fenty Beauty kind of did. Set that bar really high for people to understand that every skin tone is different, and that not everyone, not every person could come in and grab a foundation that looked right on their skin tone. So that's kind of what Fenty Beauty did. It set that rank. It set that standard. She has given back through numerous charities, such as the Clara Lionel Foundation, to fund health initiatives. And that's kind of what we're about to talk about right now. Her Clara Lionel Foundation, which again was funded for health initiatives. Well, you know, they already came in and they already made substantial donations to COVID-19, but it was announced that they were going to do an additional $1 million in grants toward the COVID-19 response efforts. That's making some noise because Jay-Z, who she signed under Roc Nation with in 2010, Jay-Z came in with his Sean Carter's foundation, and he added another $1 million in grants to the COVID-19 response efforts. But that's only one thing. Remember, I told you guys that there was 2 reasons why our girl Rihanna is all over social media. Well, she has also made history by being the first person ever in history to wear a do-rag on the British Vogue cover. Yes, she is wearing a black do-rag on the Vogue cover, looking marvelous as usual. And in the article that she's actually featured in, she plans on releasing new music and says that she's been working aggressively on it. And remember, in my last podcast, I was telling you guys that so many people were getting upset at the fact that Rihanna said that, you know, new music was going to come out, but no one has seen any new music. And so people were starting to critique her on it, starting to criticize her on it. And then when she came out with the new song with Party Next Door, people were really in their feelings. So the fact that Rihanna is, again, like I said, she's making all of these boss moves. I just read you her resume, for goodness sakes. This woman is Wonder Woman for sure. She is always on her grind. She's always working. She's doing everything she can to improve, but she's trying to improve everyone, period. And she is making boss moves in the efforts as well. And speaking of Rihanna actually got voice lessons from Neo. So that kind of wraps back into our very first segment, which was how Neo has helped develop so many artists. And coming up after the break, there's another artist who came in and spilled some tea. So we're going to find out who that artist was and what the tea has to pertain. What kind of tea are we brewing? Let's find out. I'll see you guys right after the break.
Always on the go, but the day just won't be one without your Hollywood fix. Let Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast take care of that. Jordan and Keith is Entertainment Tonight meets Access Hollywood.
I'm Jordan. The guy laughing, that's Keith.
Yeah, I'm Keith.
An all-inclusive look of pop culture.
Welcome back. Before the break, I was talking to you guys about Rihanna and how she was the first person to ever grace the British Vogue cover by wearing a black do-rag. She is the first person to have ever done it, and then she's also donated an additional $1 million to help the response effort for the COVID-19. And then Jay-Z also came in with his foundation and helped add an additional $1 million to the response of COVID-19 as well. So I'm also going to talk about a celebrity that came on to Instagram or went on to Instagram Live, and they spilled some tea about not one, not two, but 3 people. And right now we're going to find out who that was. That was Keely Williams. If you do not know who Keely Williams is, she was an artist. She was a singer in a group called 3LW as well as the Cheetah Girls. So first off, I'm going to talk about 3LW. 3LW consists of 3 people. It consists of Adrienne Bailon. If you don't know who she is one of the hosts from The Real, and Naturi Lawton. Naturi Lawton, if you don't know who she is from Power, and she is also a singer as well. Again, very, very talented. 3LW was the initials of 3 Little Women, and they were made up because it showed 3 women, our young ladies during the time. You know, they were very popular in the 2000s. So what happened? Why did they break up? What songs did they have? So first off, I'm going to talk to you guys about the songs that they had. They had a song called No More and Players Gonna Play and I Do. So what happened? Why was Keely on, what happened to 3LW in general? So what happened was there was a fight that Naturi has always told us about. In every interview, she has always said why 3LW broke up, why she left the group. Naturi has said that she got into a physical altercation with Keely, to which Keely has always said that has not happened. She did not physically assault Naturi. She was also saying that she's never thrown chicken at Naturi. So there was a huge fight that occurred at the KFC parking lot to where Naturi said that some chicken was thrown at her and it was just a physical altercation, which resulted in her leaving the group. And Keely, for a very long time, would say, no, that did not happen. Why would I throw chicken on you? That's wrong. No, I didn't do that. Well, it turns out that she did do that, and she confessed it on Instagram Live by saying, yes, I did. I threw the chicken on her because she called my mom out of her name, and no one is going to do that. So my question to that would be, why would you lie for so many years instead of saying, okay, yes, I did. I threw the chicken on her. We had a physical altercation because she called my mom out of her name. Because why would you go so many years by saying you didn't do something when you did do something, and then going back on it and saying, yeah, I did it, so what? So why did it take you this long to say anything? You know? Keely also went on to talk about Adrienne Bailon. Again, she is from The Real, and she was also a former member. Now, for a very long time, Keely and Adrienne Bailon were just very good friends, and they went on to join another group called the Cheetah Girls, which consisted of Raven Simone. And I'm going to get on Raven Simone a little bit later in this segment, but for right now, I'm going to focus on Keely Williams and Adrienne Bailon. So Adrienne has always said, in a couple of times in different segments on The Real, she's always said that she's had a friend that just wasn't a friend. They were fake friends. And many people have always question marked it. Like, is she talking about Keely? Is she talking about someone else? Because there has been different situations that Adrienne was in to where many people they were left with a question mark. And I'm saying that because Keely did mention that Adrienne Bailon was the one that was a fake friend. But in the same breath, we saw that Keely's sister, aka 3LW's manager, at one point did start to treat Adrienne bad. And I think it was around the time that Adrienne Bailon was dating Rob Kardashian. So she was hanging out with the Kardashians a lot. And Keely and Keely's sister / manager was saying that Adrienne changed. So she no longer wanted to hang out with Keely that much. She was saying that Adrienne was sleeping around a lot, especially with married men. She was saying that Adrienne posed nude at one point, and at the same time, she was saying that it was just a bad image in general. You know, not only for Disney Channel, because I believe at the time they were moving on to the Cheetah Girls, which was on Disney Channel, but just for their overall look their overall look. So you can kind of see where things start to change from us being friends to us just being acquaintances, which I just don't see why couldn't Keely just say, you know what? We were friends, but at some point we started to drift apart, and now we're just acquaintances. So we know each other, we acknowledge each other's presence, but I'm good. I don't understand why Keely just didn't do that. And a part of me just doesn't believe that she understands that happens with people. Sometimes you drift away from your friends. Or sometimes people wake up and they realize, you know what, this is not a good friendship. And I think that's probably what Adrienne did. She sat back and she evaluated the friendship and asked, if I knew what I knew about you now, would we be friends? And that's not even just Adrienne. Maybe that's Keely doing the same thing. Maybe subconsciously she was like, there's some things about Adrienne I don't like, and I evaluated our friendship. We drifted apart. It is what it is. Instead of placing the blame all on one person, we all have to look at ourselves too. So I'm not saying that Adrienne was being a fake friend. I'm not saying Keely was being a fake friend because we don't know, essentially. But what I am saying is maybe there needs to be a lot of self-evaluation, because I've noticed with Keely that she'll say something's not her fault, and then years later she'll have this random burst of self-evaluation, and then she'll tell the truth on one thing and she'll leave out everything else. I mean, look at the situation with Notori. She said she has not fought this girl or thrown chicken on this girl throughout the years, and then randomly she woke up one morning and she said, I did do it. What made you come to this realization that you actually did it? So maybe in this case it's the same thing with Adrienne. So now I'm going to go in and talk about the issues that happened with Raven. So if you guys don't know what the issue with Raven is, remember I was talking to you guys about the Cheetah Girls. So the Cheetah Girls is, it was actually a movie on Disney Channel. One of the greatest Disney Channel movies, I have to say. I grew up on the Cheetah Girls and the Cheetah Girls 2. It consisted of 4 girls, each from different backgrounds, and they held this dream. They hold this dream of being famous, of being musically famous. And they did actually a long time ago do a documentary on, or Raven did talk about why she initially left, or why Disney Channel decided not to have her on the Cheetah Girls 3. And it was mostly because of her weight, from what I believe. I believe she said that it was because of her weight, and she just felt so bad. And I believe there was a lot of things going on, but the weight was the number one issue. And so with Raven on Cheetah Girls 3, she wasn't on it. But in Cheetah Girls 2, there's also been a rumor that Raven-Symoné and Keely Williams got into it, and that if it wasn't for Lynn Whitfield, who played Raven-Symoné's mom in Cheetah Girls, that, Raven said that she would be in jail in Barcelona. And many people were asking, like, what is this? What's going on? What happened? So people were saying that Keely and Raven got into it. Raven never came out and said who the young lady was. She just said someone. So it could have been a range of different people. We tend to forget that there were 3 other girls in the cast. There was Keely Williams, there was Adrienne Bailon, and then there was also Sabrina Bryan. So people scratched out Adrienne Bailon because Bailon and Raven-Symoné have always gotten along. But people tend to forget about Sabrina Bryan, so people automatically circled Keely Williams' name. So that's where the question was, okay, so Keely Williams had a problem with Notori, and then she's always kind of had a mouth and a little attitude, so maybe it was Keely Williams. To me, I'm not going to say if it was Keely Williams or if it was Sabrina, or maybe Sabrina didn't do anything. Maybe Sabrina was just sitting there. But again, we'll never know. Or maybe time will tell. Maybe by next year, we'll get an answer on who Raven almost fought. But for right now, Keely said that she didn't. Keely said that she never fought or thought about fighting Raven. She said they got along very well in the original Cheetah Girls. And then by the time Cheetah Girls 2 came out, Raven was more of like a boss. And I believe she was one of the producers. So it was more like they weren't really friends. It was more of like a boss and a worker kind of relationship. So Keely was saying that their relationship kind of dwindled because of that. But there has been speculation that the one who spread the rumor about them fighting was Orlando Bloom. I don't know if I'm going to mention Orlando Bloom because I just don't know. I never know where to go with Orlando Bloom. I'm not going to bring him up. But yeah, and then people were also saying that Keely outed Raven, and that's another reason why there's so many issues. If you do not know, Raven-Symoné has come out and said that she is lesbian. That she is a lesbian, excuse me. But I personally do not feel that Keely Williams has done that. I just don't. I think she has a mouth. I think she does have a little bit of an attitude. From what I can tell she doesn't like to face the truth a lot of times. But I don't believe that she would do something like that. I don't believe she would do something like that. Now, as far as her getting in a fight with Raven, again, I feel like it's a 50-50% chance because, like I said, there were 3 other girls. And she gets along with Adrienne Bailon, so that leaves 2 girls. So I don't cross anyone off of my list. But that is all of the tea that Keely Williams has dropped for us on Tuesday morning, early, bright in the morning. You can tell she just woke up. She was excited to spill this tea. So that is all for this segment. In the next segment, it's all about what my top 4 unpopular opinions consist of. The music edition, right when we come back.
The GSMC Life and Happiness Podcast takes you on a journey of exploration. We'll discuss tried and true methods alongside the latest trends of how to best live your life to its fullest and happiest. From psychology to meditation, science to self-help books, the GSMC Life and Happiness Podcast will help you to discover what makes you happy and how you can live life being the best you possible. Download the GSMC Life and Happiness Podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play, or anywhere you find podcasts. Just type GSMC in the search bar.
Welcome back. For those of you guys just now tuning in, my name is Shamaria Jackson. I am your host, and you are listening to the GSMC Social Media News Podcast, hosted by the GSMC Podcast Network. And before the break, we were talking about the tea that Keely Williams has spilt Tuesday morning. She just woke up one morning and she brewed and just spilt the tea on everything, on 3LW and on the Cheetah Girls. No one asked for it. She just woke up and decided to do it. And I gave my opinion on everything. So right now, because we have spoken a lot about the music industry, especially about music, especially of everything that's going on social media, I'm going to give you guys my top 5 unpopular edition, my unpopular opinion edition. And I have one social media. Everything else consists of music. I do, because I wanted to keep the momentum up with how social media has been going so hard in our music industry and how our music industry has technically shaped social media in a way. So I'm going to go on and keep that trend up by talking about music. But I do have one social media unpopular opinion that we are going to hit. My number 5, I'm going to go 5 to 1. 5 being, this is unpopular. You're not going to like it, but it's okay. And my number 1 being, you're probably going to hate me. I'm okay with it. You're probably going to hate me. But this is how I feel. So, my number 5 is that Camila Cabello cannot sing. She just can't. I feel like she sings through her throat and her nose, and it makes she makes my ears bleed. I do not think she can sing at all. Do I think she's a very pretty girl? Yes. Do I feel like she can resonate with two forms of people, like with the younger audience and someone else? Yes. Do I feel like she is talented in different aspects? Yes. Do I feel like she can sing? Definitely not. If you really sit down and listen to her music, you will notice it. I want you to put some headphones in, sit down in a quiet area, and really listen and critique her voice. It sounds like Havana, that's exactly what it sounds like, and it irritates me. I don't know if it's because I was in band for a very long time, so you had no choice but to listen to music all the time. I don't know if it's because I have a lot of friends who are into music and I have no choice but to listen to music with them. I don't know if it's because both of my exes were in music and I had no choice but to listen to them. Therefore, I picked up music along the way. I don't know, but I can't listen to her voice. I don't feel like she can sing. My friends and I have argued about it. I do have some people who agree with me. I do have some people who do not agree with me, and that's okay. I don't know. My number 4 is My number 4 is J. Cole is underappreciated and he is severely overlooked. J. Cole lyrically can, I know a lot of you guys do not understand the word body, but that means he can take anyone. So when I say the word body, that's what I mean. So Drake can body people, okay, lyrically. His lyrics, if you really sit down, well, not even if you really sit down and you listen to his music, lyrically, he is telling a story. He is telling you everything you need to know, but he's often overlooked because of the fact that he is not all over social media and doing goofy stuff. He is at home, spending time with his wife, creating something that he loves more. or that he loves, you know, and he's not getting wrapped up in everything that's going on. So I feel like he's overlooked on a lot. And if you ever notice, whenever J. Cole is on a song, whether it is his own song or if he's featured on a song, his lyrics make so much sense. Look at 21 Savage and him on A Lot. Like, really sit down and listen to that song. Look at London with Young Thug. Lyrics. His lyrics that come at you. And then don't even just listen to that. Listen to his whole album where he goes in and he just talks about life and looking up to people who kind of let him down. Listen to his songs, listen to his album, and like, don't try to like compare him to everyone else. Like, oh, he's not Kendrick Lamar, even though I love Kendrick Lamar. He's not Kendrick Lamar. Like, who cares? Listen to his song. Listen to him. He is a person, singular. Listen to him, listen to his voice, and see if he resonates with anything. Like, come on. Okay, so my number 3, the City Girls cannot rap. And they are very, very overrated. Do I dance to their music? Yes. Am I kind of a hypocrite in this? Yes. But they cannot rap. Like, it's one of those songs where I listen to it and I just don't think about it. Just don't critique it. Just don't think about it. But it's so hard, again, when you're so used to sitting down and actually listening to the song. So if the beat is going and they're rapping above the beat, or if they're rapping below the beat, it irritates me. Or if out of nowhere they change the tempo because they can't rap at the same tempo. It irks me. It irks me so much. It irks me on Twerk. It irked me on Act Up. It irked me on Sweetie's remix of My Type. It irked me on Leave 'Em Alone. They're very, like, big pop culture wise, and I cannot deny their hustle. That's one thing I cannot deny. Their hustle is huge. Their hustle is very huge. And they're very known, so they're doing something right. But at the same time, their rap style is not my style. There we go. My number 2 is I don't feel like confidence plays a key in social media. And I'm only saying that because a lot of people make fake personas of being confident online. And then when you meet them in real life, they're the complete opposite. So they're not confident. They're constantly asking, people if they are, like, they're constantly asking people for reinforcement on if they are pretty. They're striving off of, oh, you're really pretty, you're really pretty, you're really pretty. But if someone doesn't say it to them every single day, then it becomes an issue. So I don't feel like confidence is key on social media. But I feel like a lot of people like to think that it is. Just because a lot of people, again, might say that they're confident on social media, but you'll just notice them changing everything about themselves to please everyone else. Which isn't confident, but it's making them feel confident. So I guess false confidence is key on social media, which is the same thing as not having any confidence on social media. So there you go. And finally, my number one most unpopular opinion that I feel like everyone is going to get on to me about, but it's okay because this is my opinion. My friends were actually, at least two of my friends were arguing with me about it. And I'm going to stick with my guns on it. My number one is, although I like Taylor Swift's songs, there are a lot of Taylor Swift songs that I do like. I believe that she's overrated. I feel like she's very overrated. And I also feel that she doesn't have any award-worthy albums. She has very good songs, but are they award-worthy albums? I don't think so. That's my unpopular opinion. Okay. And in today's podcast, it was centered mostly around music, simply because music has become, it's always been such a staple in social media, from dance moves to songs to just about everything in between, especially in sayings. So I wanted that chance to kind of shine a spotlight on our entertainment influencers, or on our music influencers. Drake broke the internet by showing off his beautiful blonde-haired, blue-eyed son, Adonis, and how he has been a little quiet about showing off his son, but he finally came in and showed off his son, and the world kind of went crazy, or specifically Twitter went crazy. I spoke about how Rihanna is planning on releasing music, and how how social media has been talking about her, and how she kind of made history. Her foundation, the Clara Lionel Foundation, which helps to fund health initiatives, added an additional $1 million to seek response efforts for the COVID-19. And then Jay-Z, who, if you don't know, Rihanna is signed under Jay-Z's record label, which is Roc Nation. He came in with his foundation, the Sean Carter's Foundation, and he did an additional $1 million as well in the efforts, into the response efforts to get vaccines for the COVID-19. I spoke about how Twitter has kind of made it to where you have legends versus the newer artists, people who haven't really earned their nuggets, and how they're comparing them, such as Trey Songz versus Usher, and then Quincy Jones versus Kanye West. And how I spoke about how I feel like all of these artists are very talented, however, they're not at the legend standpoint as, you know, the person they're versing. I spoke about how Keely Williams went on Instagram Live, and she kind of spilled the tea on her former group mates from 3LW. She talked about Notori Latin, and then she also spoke about Adrienne Bailon. And then from the Cheetah Girls, she talked about Adrienne Bailon as well as Raven Simone. And she kind of gave you her 411 on everything that occurred during those times. I spoke to you guys about how I felt that Keely was kind of hiding things, I guess you can say, for a very long time, or denying the truth for a very long time, just to come back and say, yes, I did do it, i.e. the KFC incident. So that was something. And then finally, I spoke to you guys about the producer versus producer on Instagram, and how these producers are showing you how they are not only flexing their creative muscles, but helping other artists flex their creative muscles as well. Thank you for listening to the GSMC Social Media News Podcast, once again brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I would like to ask that you please remember to subscribe to the show and to write a nice review, because that really helps us out. Also, if you can please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, that would be great. I love to hear from you guys. Thank you, and have a good night, a wonderful day, and everything in between.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Social Media Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.